Yeah, it looks so empty in here tonight, eh? But I guess that's the price of the Matrix. Eh?
That's it. Everybody's other places they have to be with people they have to see.
Yeah, because apparently a lot's going down. Folks, welcome to the HotBox show. Tonight you're joined by myself, Buzz, Connor, and Joe, and we'll be talking lang dang about the Constitutional Court ruling.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if anyone hasn't heard yet. I don't know what to say. But for those of you who obviously do know, as of 2 days ago, the South African Constitutional Court unanimously ruled that cannabis be decriminalized in South Africa. That's what I understood, and I was there.
Yes, I was there, shedding tears of joy. Yo.
We're not quite there yet, but
it's a long way to still go.
It's a great start. It's a great entry into it.
Yeah, it's a beginning.
It's definitely a long way to still go, but it's a good springboard.
Yeah.
It's a really good springboard, and the way that they left it so broad.
It's a big sigh of relief. So guys, as you've noticed, the studio is quite empty. That's because we are going to be having special guests via Google Hangouts tonight. We will have James Grant, I believe it is.
Advocate James Grant.
For a legal opinion. We're going to be having Dan from overseas to give us a bit of the international vibes if the news made it all the way across the pond.
Yes.
And then we're also going to have Jules and Myrtle, who are busy on the desired outcomes road trip, but who have been neck deep in legalization.
Yeah.
And we were all there on the day, and I think we can honestly say, I can say, my first legal joint, I smoked outside the doors of the Constitutional Court.
Yes, yes, I concur. I was the same.
I think more than one.
More than one.
I was so nervous beforehand that I didn't smoke before anything. I was just like, my heart was in a mess. My stomach was in knots. Although I felt positive. So yeah, the first one I had for the day was after, when it was legal.
So I apologize in advance because now weed is kind of legalish. It makes it cut boring, which means we're officially cut boring.
Sorry.
So folks at home, I think what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be taking a lot of questions from you. So please, link in the comments. What we've been getting now are a lot of questions like, where can I get seeds? And how much can I grow? And do I still need a license? And all that shit. So tonight's your chance. In the comments ask, because we'll be going to James Grant's legal opinion. And also as a preamble, us around this table, we aren't legal professionals. But we will share the verdict as we've read it and we've understood it.
Yeah.
And we'll share some of the questions that people have been asking us a lot of. But guys, if we can, is it cool to go to James Grant just yet? Cool, man. I think, Joe, will you drive this bit while I roll a joint?
Roll us a joint, Buzz. Yeah. Hi, James. Hi, James. Can you hear us?
No.
Can you hear us? How are you? How are you?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
So we wanted to chat. So we wanted to chat about obviously the judgment, the Constitutional Court judgment. People are asking a lot of questions. People are asking a lot of questions on how this is going to relate to people on a day-to-day can they carry weed in their pocket? Can they carry weed in their pocket? Can they drive with the weed? Give us the lowdown. Give us the lowdown in terms, please, sir. Layman's terms, please, sir.
I can try. I think I only heard every but I think what you're asking me. But I think what you're asking me is my understanding of. Are we on the judgment?
Yes, sir.
Are we on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay. Great. Okay. At first I was also elated and very excited. Very happy with the judgment and legality. In time, rather I'm severely depressed about the implications because I'm starting to think perhaps the judgment isn't much to celebrate at all. One thing that struck me that quite ironic is, of course, people were smoking. As we walked in, people were smoking, and in fact they were protected. And in fact they were protected there on the steps of the Constitutional Court by the general interdict granted and his judgment had granted, although his judgment prosecution didn't want it there, and it was there, and people were indeed when they came out on those very same steps to smoke marijuana. It remains illegal. It remains illegal to smoke anywhere in public. It remains illegal. It remains illegal to acquire it in any way other than by growing it yourself. And so there are extreme restrictions on it. The only thing that is permitted is use and possession of it in private for your own personal and how are you supposed to grow, and how are you supposed, and that's where it ended. Where you're supposed to even to grow it,
that's a question we've been getting a lot. That's a question we've been getting a lot of.
I'm a little depressed.
James, can I ask you if you could turn your speaker down in the background, please?
Wearing headphones.
Okay.
Okay,
no speaker. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, no speaker. Perfect. Thank you.
Please
keep your headset. Okay. Otherwise, no. Please keep your headset. Otherwise, we're able to chat. Able to chat.
James, could you tell us a little bit more? James, could you tell us a little bit more about the privacy aspect that the court went to such pains to talk about?
Well, So, Constitutional Court proceeded on the basis that it was exceeded and privacy recognized by Davis in saying that it thought that Davis was too restrictive because if and then you leave your home, it can't be the case that suddenly it becomes illegal the moment you leave your house, even though it's in a private place, which is your pocket. Now, it went on and then said, well, that can't be the case, so therefore we are not going to restrict and possession to one's private dwelling. It didn't then go on and say, therefore, the following places are to be regarded as one's dwelling. What you're left with is having to deduce the fact that the Constitutional Court presumes or is a private one may put marijuana when one is outside of one's home. That's as far as it went. There's no indication in the judgment about one's cop, and there's no indication certainly about the use of marijuana outside of one's dwelling.
Well, those are the things that I suppose are going to go. Into.
Actually, I don't think to be answered.
Yeah.
I don't think to be answered.
This is what's going to be in the finer print. This is what's going to be in the finer print with Parliament, I suppose. That's what's going to take us so long. And that's our next fight, is fighting to make sure the rules and the regulations are not screwing up the general public.
James, could you tell me a little bit?
That is exactly where we're going to get the answers. It's where we have to get the answers.
Yeah.
So another question I've been getting, James, what is a reasonable amount? What is a reasonable amount? Because that also wasn't defined.
No. It's an excellent question. And Justice Rondo had anticipated the question. He said, well, you know, we're going to be accused of being sort of vague on this, but the standard of reasonableness is relied on throughout the law. For instance, he referred to, well, how you drive your car. But I'm not sure that how one drives one's car kind of equates to how much is reasonable or how much marijuana. I mean, are you the sort of person who plans for the week? Or do you plan for the month or the year consumption? In fact, you know, the standard of reasonableness might vary drastically, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, a lot of people seem to be guessing that it's going to be the 115 grams that seems to be the difference between possession and dealing. But again, that would last me. But again, that would last me 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
A day.
Yeah.
A day.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's got to depend on the individual and well, they certainly tell you. They certainly tell you the definition of marijuana user in the law context. There's never been such a concept. There's never been reasonable. Now we the concept. And I can just undefine. My worry is this lack of definition.
Well, I'm glad. Personally, and I'm not personally, and I'm not like your law fully. I've been following you on Twitter for a long time and learning from you. I feel that I was quite happy that he left it with such a broad stroke. It gives us more room to work towards building regulations that we would like policies and regulations instead of camping it down and saying oh you can only have it in your house. He expanded. I love that he expanded. What about the homeless people who don't have? What about the homeless people who don't have to stick their flag? To stick their flag.
Something you brought it up. Decriminalization is a half-pregnant situation. It says it's okay for us to possess this. So it doesn't address how we gain access. But it doesn't address how we gain access to it. So it's a sort of quasi-legal thing.
We were joking last night about that's not buying and bartering, is it? That's not buying and selling, is it? So we can be gifting people to a lot of things.
Covered. So gifting would fall under dealing, unfortunately. Donation, it's all dealing, folks, unfortunately.
Okay, well, I learned something new.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully the viewers have too.
So
the viewers have too.
What do you envision as Parliament's ideal solution? Parliament's ideal solution going forward.
Sorry, could you repeat your question? Hi, can you hear us? Hi, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I just can't hear.
I've lost my question. I'm so stoked. James, Parliament now has 24 months to write the rules about the situation. What do you foresee as the ideal? Could they even do enough within these broad brushstrokes?
I expect that very little will be achieved in the 24 months. Because the debate is such a hot one, and I worry we're going to get to a situation where precisely these very vague concepts are just adopted into law.
Yeah, well, I suppose this is the next step for us activists, is we need to start lobbying, and we need to start lobbying hard.
Yeah.
That's CDCSA territory, I think.
Fields of Green for all territory.
I'm dying to get into drug policy. Breaking some necks in Parliament.
I wonder if people are going to relax a bit now because they're all going to think that the war's won. But I feel as if it's the battle's
We've done
won.
the hard work to prepare ourselves to start the actual hard work. We've just been making the space to be able to start working.
So I've got one more question before we say bye to James. What do you think is legal now? All parts of the plant legal now. All parts of the plant legal. Is cannabis, hemp, every context legal now? Every context legal now, or decriminalized,
So anything that has the act of marijuana in it would fall into the category of what the court was speaking about. So that whether it's seed, hemp, would be lawful to possess and to use if you want to, or whatever, so long as it is for your own personal use. Once again, there are those restrictions, and yeah, you would have to be very careful to stick within those very rigid parameters, no matter what form the stuff takes.
Yeah.
So if a person wanted to build a cannabis house,
well, we were given this question last night, actually.
We had this. So this is weird. So if a person were to think about cannabis, in a hemp context, you would have to think of tons as a reasonable amount. Or if you wanted to do research, you'd have to think of thousands and thousands of plants as a reasonable amount.
Accepting
that as an answer when they come knocking at your door? As an answer when they come knocking at your door?
I think that there would be, I mean, as there were previously, there were exceptions in respect of people who were going to do research on it, and you could get licenses. And so far as talking about everyone a very special certificate to be able to justify the research that you would be doing. You know, if you're just an ordinary person, and this is the greatest concern I have, because it is ordinary people walking the streets, that I was hoping would get better protection from this decision, who in fact are pretty much in the same position that they were before. So yeah, I mean, I take the point, no doubt. If you're the reasonable researcher in marijuana, you could justify having a whole bunch more, but probably though, if I was to guess, I expect the police are going to be operating on the same assumptions as were in place before, whereas when you were in possession of more than 115 grams, you were deemed to be a dealer. You probably find that most police officers still think that many might not have even heard that there's been a court decision, or even the decision that struck down the presumption that if you've got more than 115 grams, you're presumed to be a dealer. Some officers are living in the dark, and some of them do it deliberately.
Cool.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think that's why we've decided at Fields of Green we're gonna put together like a little printable that people can keep in their car with they get pulled over by a cop, or that if they get pulled over by a cop, or something that they can show the cop, look, that they can show the judgment. This is what the judgment was. This is what the judgment was. Why is your station commander not? Why is your station commander not forwarding this information to you?
I think that's gonna take time.
It's gonna take a while for the news. It's gonna take a while for the news to trickle down.
Yeah. Unbelievably, it's necessary and very good advice.
Yeah. No, we're going to do that. No, we're going to do that to empower our people.
James, thank you very much. James, thank you very much for
being a.
No, it's fine. You know, stoners are fairly resourceful people in these laws in our private spaces. A lot of us are homeowners. We have our private spaces, and we can always invite our soul, family in for a kaya.
But that's going to be our next topic when we get into it. It's going to be our next topic. Thank you very much for joining us. James, thank you very much for joining us. And I hope for what it's worth, you're getting high. For what it's worth, you're getting high tonight.
Get some sleep. Thank you, guys. Some sleep.
Take it easy.
Thank you, James.
Take it easy.
Thank you, James.
Cheers.
Oh. Always a lovely man to talk to. Always a lovely man to talk to. Tell you what.
So let's be nice, because the biggest comment we get is, guys, sorry, we got a bit of scratchy audio there. Watch it later if you really need to, but we'll go through those high points again, because we're really getting asked that a lot. Something I'm also getting asked is, how do you feel now that weed is decriminalized? Because do you have this big feeling of elation? And people have been disappointed, because I've just been like, meh. Because in my house, and I'm sure for a lot of you at home, weed's been legal forever already.
Weed's been legal in my house for years.
But definitely, I think in the car, it's changed for me.
Yes.
Usually I'm so alert and looking around every corner for a cop car and hiding my stuff. Now it's like, it's okay. If I've got a joint there in the ashtray or something, then you can at least talk about it and be civil, you know?
Well, I feel like I don't need to have like a hidey hole thing. I can just put my little weed in my tobacco thing and boom, you
Put
know?
it there, hey?
Yeah. Boom, bitches.
So I'm going to be pushy. Joe, I think you can drive the comments. If people have questions, they can ask. And let's start at the beginning. Let's say hello to everyone who commented, because we've got so much gay comments. Let's say hi by their names, man.
We are saying hi to Aiden Berry, Nathan, Martin Latham, Brian DeCock, Christopher Skierpers, Red Viper, Corey Kruger. Fuck, there's a lot of you tonight.
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
Nice.
Van Veek, Who, Where, Dave Forrest, Indica Sativa, Travis Mock, always good to hear from you, babe.
How's it, brother?
Dave Sewell, the Hairy Farmer, Chris Badenhorst, Donovan Lamprecht.
Yeah, it's the whole of fucking South Africa.
My gosh, everybody's come out to play. Thomas Giori, how you doing, my darling? I think that's about it. I'm almost at the Orissa Cube. Kevin Finsale, wow, mellow guy. Where's Russ?
Oh, where's Russ?
Russ, where are you, bruh?
We're gonna do something special about Russ next week, because Russ left me in tears.
Yeah,
I haven't cried.
all in tears.
I haven't cried so hard since I watched The Lion King when I was 8 years old.
It's true though, man. That man's full of power. He really is.
So Audrey Rose Palmer says they feel better about being stoned in public.
Yes.
Which I also do.
Mm.
And I mean, I had guys working around the house today, installing security cameras, and I had, so security people, and I had no, like, feeling awkward about, like, having a little joint walking around the house while they were there. We discussed the judgment, and they were like, high five, this is fantastic, you know?
Lovely.
So yeah, I also, as much as weed has been legal in my house for years, that first cup of coffee the next morning, I think when it sunk in, where I was not like watching to see if that nosy neighbor on the one side was sticking his nose over the fence, coming to tell me I'm going to call the cops on you.
Yeah.
Because I have one of those.
Do you know what I'm most worried about? I'm going to be genuinely worried about. There's two kinds of things. There's one where you got some Otani who lives next door with a little stoop kakarki, and your plants start going over wall height, and she's like, hello, flying squad? They're ruining my view. Or your shit is too dank, and the fucking neighbors can't sleep because your terps are invading their space. But worst case is I'm worried about rippers now.
Yeah.
Oaks are going to come and steal your
Jack the
fucking
Ripper.
dank when it's just ripe.
Yeah.
So I think
It's happened
Oaks...
to me before,
Dogs.
man. It sucks. I had
More dogs.
Yeah, a lot stolen. It sucks, man.
See, I'm not a grower, so I've never had to worry about that. I can grow blackjacks. That's about it.
But,
Yeah.
but I wonder what's going to be interesting. I'm waiting for the first call if it hasn't happened already, where someone says 10111, whatever that is. Someone's stolen my weed.
Well,
Can you report it?
That's what I've been thinking. I think you can. I mean, there's no reason why you can't, right? If it's your right to have the plant and someone steals the plant, then it's theft, technically. It's on your private property.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
It's the
then-
theft of your own private property from your private property.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want anyone to come and steal my weed, but I'd love to be a flower on the wall when that first charge is laid.
It'll be
So the
interesting.
Oaks are
times.
talking about driving and smoking on the
Okay.
comments.
So I'm gonna go all boring mode. Get on my knee. I'm gonna tell you a story, my boy,
Yeah.
about this thing. So this ruling says the only real way it touches on driving is they say, so the ruling went further to expand your privacy. Originally Cape Town said you can only have it in your dwelling, which is your home basically. But now it's basically any private space, including your person or your vehicle, I imagine.
Yeah, it's your
But
private space.
They expanded that a little bit to your privacy in a context where you're somewhere or whatever. I can't imagine you're going to be able to light up at schools and churches and shit.
Well, you know, schools for sure, because no under 18 kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Churches,
I
I
think
think
no
that would be
smoking.
the best way to make it through church, quite frankly, as a non-churchy person myself.
But I imagine there's still going to be issues about limits when it comes to driving. So let's say you're driving along and then you realize it's not your album that's going mwap mwap, it's the oak behind you,
Yeah.
and he pulls you over and he says, okay, piss or blood, to check if you're high, if you've got THC in you. It doesn't say anything about that in the ruling other than that in order for an officer to say pee or blood or whatever, there must be a reasonable suspicion for him to do that. So you have to be driving erratically or like parked at the stop sign waiting for it to turn green or some shit.
So just don't drive like a durs.
Yeah.
Drive nice.
Yeah.
And you won't call attention to yourself to be pulled over.
Yeah. But the ruling is
Basic logic.
very ambiguous still. They've said it's Parliament's story to sort this out. And what I also read in the ruling is that the only reason they didn't make any decision in regards to dealing is simply because when the court case happened originally and went to Cape Town and then to High Court and blah 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 and then to Constitutional, is that Jeremy and Russ Prince didn't say anything about dealing.
Yeah.
So the court says we would have liked to have made a ruling about dealing and transacting, but we can't because you still don't ask us about it, and we can't.
Yeah.
They cannot judge on things on subjects that haven't been raised by them, which is why it's only limited to private use and not industrial use, which is why Dis-Chem cannot be coming out with a range of cannabis products next week, because buying and selling is still illegal.
Yeah, life goes on. But anyway,
Sucks to be Dis-Chem.
Well, it's not like you're not selling hemp stuff already.
Yeah, they sell CBD already,
Yeah.
I believe, but
That's part
of the
it's
plant.
not legal.
It's not
It's part of the
legal.
plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know with having Monk's Gin, like, we had the hemp infused and we had hemp written on the bottle, and someone, we don't know who, complained to DAF, even though it's ironic because DAF is now lobbying for hemp. It's a weird world, but it's weird, and now we had to take hemp off the bottle. We got to a compromise, but
And now
You
you,
know what
don't
I
have
mean?
to anymore.
well, now we
Now
don't
you can
have
put
to.
it back
Yeah, I
on.
guess now we
Well,
can put
no,
it back on.
because buying and selling.
Well, there you go. But it's one of those, I don't know, grey areas still.
It's one of those grey
You
areas.
just got to tread lightly and hope for the best.
it's super grey at the moment.
Yeah, it's very grey. We're hoping to lighten up the greyness a little bit for you all tonight, but it's going to be grey until we've fought for the policies and regulations that we want.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the struggle.
All right.
We need to.
So, as I predicted, this all got super fucking boring. Let's get into some fun shit. First things first, I got my next week's supply of weed from Father Kushmas today.
Father Kushmas came to visit.
Yes,
Look at that.
Motherfuckers.
Yum yum.
I'm waiting for the heavens to open
That's
and that
Gorilla Glue.
light humming.
So I understand this to be some indoor cheese.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And I think for tonight this is a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
For the amount of people in the room, absolutely.
get started.
Yeah. To get started. Listen to these motherfuckers in the background.
And then post munchies, we might need another one.
So, very thank you. Very much a thank you. And we're going to share this out to Oaks who come on the HotBox and get t-shirts and that, because Jules put his cock on the block and he put it on Facebook. If anyone could get him any of the KIF headlines that are like these things, off the polls and that, he would give them a shirt. So I think some lucky motherfucker is getting a whole wardrobe of shirts from us, because they got headlines for days, Oaks.
Yeah.
Dagga on my stoop.
Yes, please.
I'm gonna put it on my front door.
I would put it on my bonnet.
Let's see what else we got here.
So some of them are duplicates, just in case. Yeah, fairly predictable, but we still like it.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the Daily Sun to do the first story about the Tokolosh stealing someone's soul. The Tokolosh smoked by a man. What else have we got? We're the same. Oh no, we got more. We got more. Ja, dat vir julle Afrikaners daarso.
Fucking Dagga.
Ja, Dagga is my wêreld.
Yeah. And you know what, if we were really OG, we would smoke these things. That's what my dad would have done.
We can't. We're keeping them preserved for the museum.
I've only got a big jar there.
And then also, just quickly, we may as well.
Yeah, dudes, if there was scratch and sniff for you guys, I'm so sorry, but there's no scratch and sniff. It is amazing.
Beautiful.
It really is amazing. That is a beautiful indoor.
Dank as fuck.
Dank as fuck.
So, we saw, I didn't really read the story, we're just going to ad-lib a lot of this. I saw news and word going around that apparently the rand bounced. It recovered a bit after the announcement.
The rand also
Did I
went on a
imagine
bit
that?
of a high.
Did it?
Yeah, it
The rand
recovered a
hit
bit.
a high.
Apparently the rand strengthened on this judgment. I don't know where it's at now because I try not to pay attention to that shit because it's like depressing and I'm in a really happy place in my life. So don't know, yeah. But for a short while it got some.
Okay. Do we have any more questions or comments before we go on to Dan?
I'll tell you now. Sorry, I got the stone.
And Oaks, tell us. I'm very curious to know what was the. Because this is every question's been asked. I've been in this game forever. And I'm tired of asking the question, "What are you smoking today?" Blah blah blah. But this is an interesting take. Is what was the first legal weed strain you smoked, and how did you smoke it after the ruling?
All of it.
All of it, eh? the one that says here, this, I like that meme. What was that meme? Maandagge, Dinsdagge, Woensdagge, and it went on all the way. The only piece that was missing was Heeldagge.
Listen, we're going to shout out to Vuyo. It's the first time watching us live. How's it, Vuyo? Thank you for joining us live, brother. Chatting, thanks for all the hard work for getting this done. And yeah, scratch and sniff would have worked. And of course, Corey Kruger says he will work for weed. He will work for that weed.
we can make you think of interesting things to do, dude. No. So we ready for Dan, Oaks?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get him on.
Yeah, man, Oaks. For those of you who know, Dan is an OG. He's one of the founding fathers of this shit.
We have so much love for Dan. Dan is the man.
There he is.
Yeah, you with us?
There he is.
Yeah, you with us? We can hear him softly. We can hear him softly.
Hello, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
Hey, Dan. Cool, man. How are you? Cool, man. How are you?
Yeah, good. Oh, wait, hold on. We gotta get some sounds. Oh, wait, hold on. We gotta get some sounds.
Yeah, that's just hitting
I think
me.
let's take a minute while we roll joints. Let's take a minute while we roll joints. Everyone in the comments tell us how cut the sound is and just dial you in. This is the bit where we should have some adverts. This is the bit where we should have some adverts. So like some open crowdfunding. We do. Go join Fields of Green. We do. Make a donation. Fields of Green. Make a donation. We'll kick it up again. You're gonna stick it in your bra, Joe. You're gonna stick it in your bra, Joe.
We have having a personal relationship with this jar right now.
It's like that meme where everyone's, it's that picture of the pram and they said, all my friends be over here like babies and I be over here like
Proper baby shots with the those proper baby shots with the holding the plant. So good.
Cool, we got Dan sorted. Cool, we got Dan sorted.
I think so. Can you hear me?
You with us, lekker.
Yeah, man.
I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Lekker.
Yeah, man.
I hear you.
Yeah, cool, cool. Yeah, cool.
So did you smoke a fat chalice after the ruling? Did you smoke a fat chalice after the ruling, dude?
Yeah, yes, I did. Actually, I had one with the radium waiting. I had one with the radium waiting with the ruling demo. With the ruling demo.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Has news of the ruling made it across the pond? Has news of the ruling made it across the pond?
Yes, it has. People have seen it on social media, or there's social media, and there's different Hey man, you missed out on the legal weed. You should come back home. You should come back home.
Yeah, you picked a bad time to leave the country. Yeah, you picked a bad time to leave the country, my friend.
Just my luck, eh? Just my luck, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's all good. I know I'm coming back home. I know I'm coming back home to good news. You know?
There is indeed.
A reason to come home.
There's good reasons to. Well, I mean,
Another
there's a good
reason
few
to
reasons to come home, but yeah.
What are your thoughts about the ruling, Dan?
Well, I think it's a start. I think it's really, it's better than nothing. You know, we've all been waiting for at least this start to happen. They're not going to give us all the allowances, So let's see if they can. Pull the finger out of their thumb. And get us. And get us in line.
Yeah, at least we got that yes. That's just like yes.
You know,
It's a foot in the door. It's amazing.
Judgment was sprung upon everybody saying, you know, it's in 2 days, over the day, 2 days prior, over the day, and obviously prior. The last thing that happened, everyone was so apprehensive, and they did not, obviously with this one, everyone was on the, you know, positive side, but it couldn't say no. But it couldn't say no. We just really go ahead, going forward, and that's all that we want.
I think that there's just so much global movement in the way of legalization or decriminalization in some way that they honestly would have been silly to not go with that flow. Like global peer pressure. Global peer pressure.
So we're not going to say where in the world Dan. We're not going to say where in the world Dan goes. But Dan, can you tell us a little bit about the grade of bud, where you're at, grade of bud, where you're at, and the South Africa rate on the South Africa
Must be priced in South African rand. Must be priced in South African rand so that we don't get hints as to where you are.
The price is pretty I mean, in relation, I guess. But the quality is really, really good. There is variety. There is the people who have access to very, very good trains. They have access to the best nutrients, equipment, the best nutrients you ever want in your life. Is available. There is. Yeah, the growth of actually amazing. Yeah, the growth of actually amazing, really amazing. So yeah, price of bud, it's on par. But the thing is, you're not going to get anything. Like we want a simple smoke, we want to get some smoke or something. You can't get it yet. You can't get something. You can't get it of a low grade. That is of a low grade.
Like a staple.
Yeah, it's no like run-of-the-mill man on the street sort of.
Yeah.
And how would you compare South African indoor to what you've seen there?
You know what? We are some of the best growers in the world in South Africa. So even what I've seen here, I've seen better at home. I've seen yeah. We good. Don't worry. We good. Don't worry. We good.
So now we know they're going to write the rules about this thing. What's your ideal vision of best case scenario with this decriminalization thing 2 years from now?
Well, I mean, I reckon, you know, just with the 3 things that they're saying there: use, possession, and cultivation. Use, obviously, for you to use it in your own privacy, and for you to use it when you want to use it. Obviously, not in public places. And places that you're the same as the smoking rules, I guess. Not inside a closed environment. If you want to smoke, go smoke outside. You're still allowed to, though. Possession, I'd be happy to walk around with it with 10 grams, 20 grams on me. You know, if you're allowed to have that on you.
Yeah.
And growing, I'd say 10 plants. More. I don't think there should be a limit. Essentially, I think you should be able to grow as much as you want. But yeah, it's a wide question for me. I'm quite undecided about any of that, really.
Yeah.
I just want it to be free.
Yeah, precisely. License free. Precisely.
Yeah.
License free.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But if we're going with what they say, if they were going with what they and cultivation,
That's a great start.
Do you think this decriminalization thing is going to make weed cheaper in South Africa?
Well, like the previous guest we're saying that there's no sale, or I think we're saying that there's nothing, no mention of sale. It's only use. And like we said, how are you supposed to get it if you can't buy it? But you're allowed to use it, so you must grow it. And then if you must grow it, how are you going to grow it? You have to get seeds. Where do you get seed from? So it's a bit grey in that whole sense. But price, I think it will get a bit cheaper because people are going to either come out of the deposit and will buy a lot more. So maybe there'll be a lot more demand and then the price will drop a bit. But who knows? It might just get more expensive because no, it's never more expensive.
Well, I mean, there's already an existing infrastructure. So if all of the clients of that existing infrastructure start growing their own stock, prices are going to have to come down. Prices are going to have to come down.
I hope so.
I mean,
I hope so.
Yeah, but remember, a lot of people are going to buy from someone for convenience and for...
Oh yeah, not everybody wants to grow. Not everybody wants to grow. I don't want to grow.
No, they're not going to want to grow.
I don't want to grow.
No, they're not going to want to grow. But I reckon when all those people that are now trading come out with those trade somewhere or those they can buy from somewhere, then the price will come down. There will be a lot in the price will come down. A lot of competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man. Any final thoughts from you before we... Any final thoughts from smoke another joint? Smoke another joint?
Smoking freedom, guys. Smoking freedom is awesome. Smoking freedom, guys. Smoking freedom.
Yeah.
And yeah, can't wait to see you guys when I get back. And to the rest of South Africa. Aware, we did it. Aware, we did it.
We did it.
We
did it.
Amandla.
We did it.
Amandla.
Blessings, brother.
Blessings.
Blessings, brother.
Keep well, man. Keep well, man.
You guys. You guys.
Sure.
Interesting times.
Interesting
Not gonna lie.
times.
I'm pretty fucking high. Anyone
Yeah.
we should say hi to? Any questions on the chat there?
Let's have a look, see. What is the law around buying seeds? No, you can't buy seeds because that's buying and selling. That was Chris asking. Martin Nathan, yeah, he's also everything he touches dies. Bro, I just don't have the green thumb. My gran was a horticulturalist and I'm sure she's rolling over in her grave. I know it's supposed to skip like a generation. My
Yeah.
mom is also not so good with growing plants. And we are terrible.
Can't win them all. But while we're on the topic of growing and seeds, so even though it's a grey area, there are oaks who are very publicly out there selling seeds. And some of the oaks I know, good vibes, Green Smoke Room, go check them out. Lang Dang Seeds there. Check out I'm a Deadly, doing lots of local things. Anyone else we should check out locally, oaks? So you think we should give shout outs to Pharmacy? Check out Pharmacy, they're lekker oaks. Any other local seed oaks you're so aware of?
Not that I know.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't grow, I don't really look into the
Okay,
seed
so
side
go
of
check out
things.
those oaks. And then in terms of growing, we know, check out definitely GT Hydro, Joburg,
Yes.
Four Ways, and they're also online. Yeah, no, dude, so much of grow shit, so much of grow shit. So if you're going to get into it now, that's where you go. Also check out Grow Guru. I think they're in the Eastern Cape or PE or East London or somewhere, but also online, and they're nice guys too. They're genuine fucking oaks.
Yeah.
Go check them out. Anyone else we should give shout outs to if you want to get your starter stuff going?
Well, what about
Garden root horticulture.
Who?
Garden root horticulture.
Garden Root Horticulture. Check those motherfuckers out.
Mr.
Okay.
Zuccarelli.
And I mean, what about extraction stuff?
Oh,
Local extraction stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a dab. They're amazing.
Yeah, if you guys want to make dabs or oil, check out I'm a Dab.
Yeah,
They're cool dudes.
Very
Check
cool.
out the Heiko. We've got lots of
Yes,
things.
the
If you want to be
Heiko.
smoking
The
some
Heiko.
bongs and some dabs, check out the Heiko.co.za. We've got you covered on that. Also check out puff.co.za. Lots of KIF gear there. Check out I420. I think they Cape Town Oaks. A little bit of everything. Also, cool dudes.
Yeah, I think
Should we
it's
get on
cool.
with the show?
That's it.
Let's
Listen, Dave says now he hears that the cops are now going to start going after oil makers. Because I'm assuming they're assuming that all oil makers, yeah, are growing maybe their own plants. I don't know.
Because also, what are the definitions now? When they refer to 100, let's say they still go with that old school limitation of 115 grams. Don't know why that number. There must be some weird
Such
story
a
to it.
random number.
So it has to become SA's equivalent of 420, 150.
115, brother.
But that's if they still hold that as dealing. Would they consider a whole plant that weighs 115 grams, the same as 115 grams of dab.
Yeah, because when they raid and they weigh the
Yeah,
plants, they weigh the fucking roots and the sand and all the cock as well.
But is it going to be apples and oranges? What do you think, Connor?
It's impossible, right? Because logic says dab is 10%, so I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah. What's a gram now? Because it isn't apples and oranges anymore.
No, but I mean, it's another one of those grey
Yeah.
area things where
Yeah.
we're just left in the dark, really, for the next 2 years.
No,
it's anybody's game.
Fight for our light
Yeah.
out of the dark.
Because what's also interesting for me is that a lot of people, I think, now are going to feel more confident to get into this in a medical context.
Mm.
And I'm not a doctor, I make no claims there. But I think what's also an issue they're going to continue then to struggle with is if you're sick and you need this product, you need it now. You don't need to get a seed and wait 8 months for it. You need it now.
Exactly.
So it does, in terms of medicine, that is still a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
Uwe says that the 115 grams comes from the Human Rights Commission recommendation.
But why 115 grams?
It's still random.
Is that what 4 Standard Bank bankies weigh? Is that the metric? But anyway, how are we looking on Jules and Myrtle? Are they close or still a while out?
Still a while out.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to hit it with the topic, yeah?
Hit us with your topic.
Gonna...
Chris Badenhorst, 115 grams a day. Less.
That's one big suppository, brother. So I don't know if anyone. This is really random now. It's because I'm buying time. So for those of you who may remember, my 15 minutes of fame was when I got onto SABC Newsroom, and there was this cherry there in her faux Chanel No. 5 piece. And she lost her shit about cannabis
From the
legalization.
concerned young people of South Africa.
This chick, her name was
Bless you, lady.
Mamazana Mapanga, and this chick kept own goal after own goal after own goal. It was insane. So if you don't remember, I think that's still one of the most watched videos on SABC. So what happened now is after legalization, they made a music video, a 2-minute music video.
Of that?
Well, no, not of that. It's this classical tune, and then it stills. And little captions at the bottom, and it goes, and then it's got this thing. It says, "I could have been a judge, but then you legalized Dagga. I could have been a pilot, but then you legalized Dagga. I could have been the paramedic that saved your life, but then you legalized Dagga." And it goes like this for 2 minutes.
Oh my god.
And all I could think of, this was the worst rendition of "But I Got High" ever.
Most paramedics I know smoke weed to cope with the fucking job.
Yeah, with the trauma.
Hey,
Of course.
otherwise they're raging fucking alcoholics because trauma is real.
Yeah. But
Yes,
you know,
it's no shame this woman is so misguided in life. I mean, but bless her for providing us constant entertainment. We thank you so much.
Bless her soul.
We really, we thank you.
But
You
it
make
also-
our jobs entertaining and so worth it.
they've been a valuable lesson in that, and I'm sure some of you more passionate folks at home have also been through this, where you try and convert someone. You like knock on their door and you're like, "Do you have 2 minutes to speak about our Lord and Savior CBD?" And you know, it doesn't go well. But you get a lot of people who are conducive in that. But when you see guys like this, and I'm going to go there, fuck out, they don't sue us. Doctors for life. No matter what South Africa says, even though this was a unanimous decision by the Constitutional Court, by all the judges there to decriminalize, and even to allude that they would have done more if they could. Remix. Even though this decision was made, is someone going to tell us in the comments again about the audio?
Sorry, I put the comments down.
It's okay, we can check the comments there. So no matter what decision, no matter what rational argument or opinion you're trying to express to these people, they will never accept this.
Yeah.
They think it's the end of the world now. Do you think people like this can be converted, Connor?
I've given up trying, man. I really have. I mean, I'm so passionate that, you know, you want to relay that passion, but you just get some people that are so stuck in their way, that it's not worth it at the end of the day. You got to wait until their auntie or their mom gets sick, and then they have to go through the whole process of trying every drug, and then they finally turn to ganja, and maybe possibly it does something, and then they go, oh my god, and they start asking all the questions. So that's what we've got to wait for, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately it has to be hit home and be a very real thing, and you have to, why must they be in such a deep place of fear before turning to a fucking plant? I know of people who've had to go and ask their domini permission. Domini, I have cancer. Please can I have your permission to try God's fucking plant?
Yeah, but you know it's fucked up when plants aren't on the menu but little boys are.
Yeah, don't even go there.
But let's not go there either.
Don't even go there.
So I feel like the rulings actually created more questions than answers. I feel like this is a two-parter. Because there was a story today that came out, and it's been on a couple of places, this vibe. This was in IOL, and it tunes #Dagga. Pending cases will not be affected by new ruling, says the National Prosecuting Authority. The National Prosecuting Authority has confirmed that all those who face criminal charges pertaining to cannabis use and possession would still face prosecution. Advocate Noko, whatever, the Director of Public Prosecutions in KwaZulu-Natal, was responding to questions about whether people would still be prosecuted following the ruling by the Constitutional Court. So basically, what I've understood is NPA has said, yeah, that's nice and all that you've got that cute there little ruling of yours, but everyone who's been arrested so far, even if it was 1 fucking minute before that ruling was made, is still got to go through the process. So they're not letting people out. If you've got a record, it says fuck all about sorting that out. If you are in the system,
you're stuck there.
You're stuck.
So a question we're going to get from that, I foresee, at Fields of Green, join the queue, is what does that mean with my stay of prosecution? Those stays of prosecution, and we just help where we can, and I'm no legal expert. I would say the ones that are based on Jeremy's case would have to go back to court, and the ones that are based on Myrtle and Jules's case would still be stayed because their case has not concluded. It's been postponed sine die, meaning until we make a new date. Yeah. So that's just my untechnical, unknowing sort of opinion. I'm sure we'll get better feedback from Mertz and Jules later because they've had a full-on unpacking session with the legal team. So let's see if I'm guessing right.
Yeah, but it is kind of like a fucked up situation though, because wouldn't that be the very place to begin?
Yeah.
Because that would make a hell of a lot more room for those oaks who are actually raping our moms and wearing our zooptas.
Did Jeremy and Russ Gareth ask for that in the, I can't remember, in the application for...
They may not have.
Because the court was also kept saying that there were things that they would have loved to have answered, but it wasn't asked. And this is the thing with courts, is you're asking a question, okay? You're asking them, please, this is my prayer. They call it a prayer. This is my prayer. Please, can this happen? And then they are like, yay or nay.
But it's specific to
but
that exact
if you don't ask the question, this is like raising a bunch of toddlers. If you don't ask the question, how do you know the answer?
Yeah.
I can't answer something you haven't asked. So I don't know. If they did ask, I'm sorry, I am, quite goofed right now.
I is a fucking kite. I'm not gonna lie, the indoor has been getting to me since the ruling.
This one is particularly fucking nice and tasty, dude. Scratch and sniff. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Somebody come up with that technology specifically for the weed industry. Come on,
you must know. I'd subscribe to that app. So, you were mentioning Jeremy. It was very odd because we were hoping to get Jeremy on as a guest tonight. This isn't a hard feelings thing. The Oak couldn't be on because he's on a bus now.
He's on a bus. He's going home to Cape Town because he's going to support Monica and her quest to legalize magic mushrooms. Go Monica, we are fully behind you. But there's a march going on, so he's going down to show face at the march and show support, and good for him. This has been a long week for him, hey?
Yeah.
Big fucking love to that man. It's been a busy week for him.
So you nailed it on the head there, Joe. He's going to the mushroom thing. And I've got no objection to that. Not all explorers leave home and all that shit. But do you feel like this decriminalization thing now might lead to the decriminalization of other substances? Is this, in theory, the actual gateway that DFL has prophesized? Dun, dun. And now it's tick in the fucking tuck shops at school.
You know, with respect to addiction therapy, that would be quite helpful. And I think Sean Shelley would agree with me on that. Yeah. Right? Because you treat them as patients and not as fucking scum. Mm. You know, these people, they need help. Fucking help them. Don't treat them like rubbish and kick them to the curb and make it worse. Exactly. You know, help these fucking human beings. So I think that if it is a gateway to other things, I'm not opposed to it. You know, teach your fucking children well. My kids know not to go anywhere near that shit. If it doesn't grow out the ground like weed and mushrooms and other such beautiful things that are completely natural, you know, they know not to try.
I'm not going to lie, Oaks. If the HotBox ever gets to the point where the only thing we cook on the braai are our heroin spoons, I'm tapping out.
I'm tapping out too, yeah. I actually have never tried shit like that because I was too scared because I heard it was so fucking nice and I like nice things, so I avoided it. I like my natural things. I love my mushrooms. I fucking love my mushrooms.
Yeah, but on that mushroom point, I don't know. I think it's a definite possibility because one of the things that the judges did bring up was the Prof Nutt's MCDS scale.
Yes.
And they referred to that, and because they're doing that, the mushrooms is on that scale, and it's right at the bottom.
It's right at the bottom, and there's so much research coming out on the medical benefits of magic mushrooms as well.
PTSD and
I do believe that is the next wall to fall down. Yeah.
No, it seems like.
I do believe so. Even if it just stops at that, but for the sake of addicts who are going through some real struggles, I hope that there's better resolutions made for them as well. You know, it doesn't have to be a fucking free-for-all where you can go and buy your mandrax from the corner cafe. Aww. But, you know, making it at clinics and shit so that it's available and humanized. Give the owner fucking soup with that shit.
Wouldn't it be
Make sure he's getting some nutrition. Things could be run so much better.
But wouldn't it be too far if when you went to the corner cafe and the little Greek uncle there didn't give you chappies as change, he gave you buttons as change? That would be too far.
That would be too far.
That would be way too
But do you think that would happen if we were to be more liberal with things
because you know
like
what,
that?
we're also fairly logical. Humans are stupid, but we're fairly logical, and I think we know not to push things too far.
Yeah.
You know?
And we're
We're
also
trying to recover
contradictory,
from too far of corrupt and all this other cuck that's been happening. And I think that as peaceful people are making a nice push to change things now. And let's not get stupid about it and go overboard.
How are we doing on Jules and Myrtle backstage?
We're still awaiting.
Cool. So, I don't know if this is meant to be a 2-hour special. We're going to go as far as we can go before it gets awkward. There needs to be a money shot at some point. Have you got any questions or comments or shout-outs there, Joe?
We got people who are down for psychedelic Sundays, down for legal mushrooms.
Oh yeah.
Nigel kind of predicts psilocybin treatment for depression soon. DMT on the side would be great as well,
yes,
says Chris. Bradley says it helped him massively. Vuyo says all drugs should be judged according to the harm individually, but he'd like to see mushrooms being cleared as well. You know, there's a massive support for mushrooms, so I really think that we should get behind Monica Kromhout and her bid to have mushrooms legalized as much as we can, Oaks. We've done it with weed. We've done it with weed. I mean, you can sit at your home and not fucking nip for the neighbors anymore, at least.
Yeah.
You know? And let's see if we can do that with shrooms as well. Now that we know we can do it once, let's do it again. I'm down.
You think we can get to the point where we can vape shrooms?
I don't know if I'd want to vape shrooms. I tried smoking them once. It was an interesting drive back from Rustlers.
Yeah, I got a friend who packed up on half mushrooms, half weed, and quiche the whole thing. And it was one of those big rare bombs.
Yeah.
And he's probably watching right now.
I bet he's still tripping balls from 8 years ago.
It was hilarious.
Take a look at the WhatsApp.
Take a look at the WhatsApp.
Yeah, something's just come in.
Okay. Is there breaking news? Dun, dun,
There's
dun.
breaking news.
Okay, breaking news. Provisional Joints Instruction number 52 of 2018. Arrests for possession of Dagga. Copy for information, blah blah blah. All commanders are requested to inform operational members under their command to stop arresting suspects for possession of Dagga with immediate effect.
Oh my god.
Yes! Only in cases of dealing in Dagga or possession of Dagga exceeding 3 kilograms, guys.
3 kilograms!
Yes! Should the
That's not
suspect
enough.
be arrested?
It's not enough.
Inquiries
still.
directed to Colonel Finstaden. Kind regards, Brigadier Dr. Mangena.
You know what I'm going to do now?
Fucking A, there's some answers, people.
There we go.
But now,
There we go.
it's,
I'm gonna cry
Oh my
again.
God.
hang on,
This
is that 3 kilograms per person?
Thanks to Rob.
Thanks
you.
to Rob
So
who?
Rob, yeah.
Just
Rob.
Rob,
Sharp
thank
shoot.
you. Who's Rob? Let me see.
Thanks just to Rob.
Just Rob's fine.
Just Rob is fine. Rob, you fucking rock, bro.
3
And
kilograms.
that is stamped 20 September 2018.
Yes.
That happened
Now.
today.
That's amazing.
It's a good
Ink's still
fucking
drying
time
on
to
that
be
shit, though.
in cannabis in South Africa.
Did it specify 3 kilograms
3
per person?
kilograms, bro. Look at
Let's
this.
hear that again
Does
just
that mean
quickly.
if you've got two
Okay, so
people in the house,
only in
does that
cases of dealing in Dagga or possession of Dagga exceeding 3 kilograms in weight should a suspect be arrested. All commanders are requested to inform operational members under their command to stop arresting suspects for possession of Dagga with immediate effect. So I think I'm going to make an executive decision for Fields of Green for All and say we're going to post that on our website so that you guys can print it out and have it in your car, have it in your house, have it in your wallet. It's a 1-page A4. Okay? It costs you 2 fucking rand to print that shit out at whatever that place
Get some
is.
brown tape.
So
Stick it to your fucking
we're
car
gonna, we're
window.
gonna make that our mission to get that onto our website and keep that on you and fucking carry 2 kilos 998 just to be safe.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. So
You heard it first on the HotBox show. Like, subscribe, share.
So now this is an issue because they say 3 kilograms per person. That's nice and all, but I'm not sure that's enough. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to go make 20 fucking little kids real quick, like, so that I can have 63 kilograms, 66 or whatever. So that's cool and all. 3 kilograms seems reasonable. If I can ask, how much does this thing weigh? This is 200 grams. So what's that? It's 5 times. It's 15 of these.
Oh my god.
15 of these.
Yes.
This is so cool. Okay, so everybody on the chat is lit.
Lit
They
F,
are
fuck,
on
okay.
Fire. This is
What
good
they say,
news.
Joe.
I actually had
Is
to
3 enough?
rewind and listen again, says Chris. 3 kilos, dry kilos, yes, yes, yes. Can you fly with weed on a domestic flight? Very fucking good question, Ferdy. Because if it's in your suitcase, is it in your private property? But that suitcase is in a public space.
Just keep it on you.
Just keep it on you.
Keep it
So
right on
in
you.
your hand luggage.
Well, I guess
Carry
I'll
on.
find
And
out
you know
on
what you must
Monday.
get?
Carry on.
You must get one of those old school moon bags to put your 3 kilograms in.
Looking like cowboy packs down here.
So what are other oaks saying there?
You need a lot of plants to make a little oil, so yeah, being able to carry 3 kilos for healers to be able to for oil production. This is such good news.
Was
I
3
mean,
kilos
it's-
enough though? Is that enough really?
3 kilos of oil.
3 kilos of
3
oil
kilos
is
of
enough.
what? 3 kilos of what? Are they still going to weigh the whole we were going there earlier. They still going to weigh the whole plant when
Bro,
they
you
bust
got
you?
that oil in a big fucking keg. They're not even going to know what that is. You can carry that on trucks for days and then still have your 3 kilo bag of smoke for the road. Thinking off the top of my head, I don't know. Travis says 3 kilograms is just over 8 grams a day for a year. Bruh, your maths is awesome.
That's amazing.
8 grams a day. Yeah, I think I could survive on that.
No, just about. Spread the butter thin.
I'm not that bad, hey. I actually don't smoke that much.
So I heard the cops weren't too impressed, like the Minister of Police, they went all cha-cha-lach about it. So there was this meme or tweet going around that breaking news, Minister of Police Becky Taylor has confirmed that all police dogs trained to sniff for Dagga have been retrenched with immediate effect.
At least they're not threatening to shoot them like the Americans did.
You can see a real story though, because even now they're going to become obsolete. Hey?
I guess, unless in terms of cases where they think it's a dealing operation, but I mean, geez, like, there's going to be a lot of dogs on the streets.
So you think we're going to see all these K-line dogs now at the robots with the squeegee bottle and the squeegee wiper, or with sunglasses and phone chargers trying to sell our shit? Anything else we should talk about? Because now I'm just going to start dragging out time.
Desired outcome.
Huh?
Desired outcome.
Desired outcome.
Desired outcome.
Okay, so I guess now the big point, because we went to this thing last night at the Plant People. Thank you, Ilana, for inviting us.
Yeah.
It was just basically like a 10 or 15 minute AMA. Ask me anything. And I feel like we could have asked a lot more, answered a lot more questions.
Yeah.
But the ultimate answer would always be to go have a look at our desired outcomes, because the short answer right now is a very Douglas Adams answer that there is no answer.
Yeah, there is no answer.
But we should be talking about what these answers should be.
Can be.
Yeah. Because like now, do we even get a chance? You were at the CDCSA. Not going to lie, I wasn't the biggest fan at the beginning, but I was a bit impatient. But I went to this thing because the CDCSA is the Cannabis Development Council of South Africa. And it's got its own issues and its own politics. But from what I understand, Connor, you're involved there. There was a big, like in Dagga last week.
Yeah.
What are your feelings about the CDCSA? Do you feel like it's going to fit in? And how do you think it should fit in? Where do you think it'll have a role?
Well, I mean, I was there representing the CIDC, which is the Western Cape version, where we based on industry, the Cannabis Industrial Development Council. And it was really interesting because I think our pitch anyway was our pitch anyway was if the CDC as a whole that represents all 9 provinces could act as a middleman between government and big decision makers and the little guy, the small co-ops, the family farmers now, the subsistence farmers, where it's like a messenger where we're relaying information instead of sending brutal police forces or all these things. Now that it's decriminalized, we're humanized. So it's to act as a middleman, just to referee the game now.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, is stop the brutality and let's actually talk about this, you know? So I think that's important, and it was a good summit because I think everyone from the different provinces have very different ideas of how they want things to end up, but I think it was positive in that everyone came together. It was a great unification of all the 9 provinces and representatives not just of growers or necessarily industry people, but people representing true cultures, the Rasta representatives. Everyone had their say, which was really amazing.
It was a nice mix of people that was there, and it was nice to see all the, I don't know if I want to say, but I'm going to say it anyway, like the big, you know.
The big names.
The big names.
Should we drop? Let's drop all the names. Who was there? For those who know, my ex-fling, Tandeka, was there.
Yeah, yeah. Classy as usual.
Bobby Greenash was there.
Love it.
Krithy was there.
Yep. Good,
Tony from Emporium was there.
Tony.
There were so many people, but also the feeling I got, which Greendalf was there. Plus Rex the Greendalf.
Bingy Bings.
I got the vibe that there were a couple of sharks, and that was disappointing for me, is because I'm still 10% altruist deep down inside. And I am starting to see that thing now where a lot of people are just getting in it for me, which I guess is human nature.
The thing is, you know, you can't fucking buy groceries with hugs and kisses. You can't pay your bonds with, like,
dabs.
I'll swap you, like, dabs for fucking massage or whatever. It's, we have houses, we have shit to do. So I can see it from both ways. I mean,
any comments or shout outs? Because I'm getting so chowed out. I'm just like staring.
People are still busy, like really, really happy. You apparently need to speak up a little bit.
Oh, sorry guys.
Enunciate. Yeah. No, not much. Everybody's still pretty much happy about this 3 kilo thing. We'll share the document. Who asked? Somebody asked Van Wyk, where we can get that info. We'll put that info onto the Fields of Green for All website,
And
which is www.fieldsofgreenforall.org.za. But give us like overnight, at least.
Yeah, let's get high tonight.
Let the celebration
Yeah,
begin.
but we will make that available for you tomorrow, like latest.
Because I'll be real with you, Oaks Road. I've said this a lot before any ruling was made. I said whenever a ruling would be made, that's when the real work would begin. So this is when we say, class, please pay attention.
Yeah.
Really, check out Fields of Green. Check out the desired outcomes.
Yeah.
I was very guilty of running an article after the Cape Town ruling a year ago, whatever. And it was very clickbaity, and it created the impression that weed was legalized. And I felt like people got a lot more relaxed after that. And yes, let's get relaxed, let's enjoy. But I noticed, even from the day that the ruling was made, we were back at work that afternoon.
Literally
Yeah.
Back in the car, back.
I mean, the hard work is only really starting now. It's true.
And I think also you should, even if it's just in the comments, but really check out Fields of Green. What rules do you think should apply? Should there be rules about under 18s? Should lighters be allowed to use? Because remember, there's medicine for kids, I'm sure, but this is not a medicinal ruling in any form.
No,
fair
that's why we need to, I think, still ventilate everything else in the trial plant part 2.
Yeah, are we
We
going to
really
have a
need
trial
to-
of the plant part 2?
I think in order to ask the questions to the Constitutional Court so that they can give us the answer, yeah. I think in the long run, I mean, I haven't spoken to Myrtle and Jules since they've had the meeting with the legal team, but my gut tells me that that's going to be the way forward. So, Oaks, that means we're going to be doing some fundraising. If you can come up with any nice groovy ideas for us to do fundraising, you know, we're going to have to make a million or two to get all of our experts back from all over the world, and they are super excited to do that. They want to be part of everything. You know, they're excited to be part of the change. So we'll keep you posted on whether we have to do that or not.
Yeah, I see Anik asks, I really want to know what we can start doing with hempcrete. So again, this is a question that I feel like we've had for the 3rd or 4th time in this sort of vein. So the deal is 3 kilograms. They've said 3 kilograms of cannabis. That's basically in a hemp context, that's 2 or 3 bricks. So this cannabis, once they say 3 kilograms, I feel like it immediately excludes hemp in any practical form. So even though we're all going rah, rah, rah here, already we're seeing the first verdict from the cops is that's cool, but inadvertently we've really kicked hemp in the balls because 3 kilograms of hemp makes nothing. 2 pairs of socks.
Yeah.
A willy warmer. So the short answer there is that really it doesn't change things for you. But if you are enthusiastic about that thing, check out emporium.co.za. I think Tony Budden and them are on their 3rd or 4th house.
3rd or 4th house, yeah.
That they're building in Cape Town out of hemp stuff.
Beautiful houses as well. They're not like just crappy.
Yeah, they're top billing grade, eh?
Yeah, they are. So we have some stuff on the chat. Scott Morris says, I pay my mechanic with weed, so it is a really good bargaining tool. I got to agree there. Christopher Schiepers on for the kids. He thinks it should be up to the parents on what age their kids should be smoking. With mine, I said 18. Bradley decided on his own he was going to hold out to 21, and then caved at 20.
As one does.
As one does. I mean, Nicholas is 22, and I think if he smoked like 4 joints, it's a lot. But he also doesn't drink. So proud. Russ is finally in the house. Ahoy,
Yes,
Russ!
I.
Yeah, see, bro, you had me in tears with your
But we're gonna
your thing.
we'll speak about that thing next week, Russ. We're gonna
We're
make
gonna
a real
discuss
effort
it.
there. But in short, ons ruk en heil saam met jou, buddy. Ne?
Yeah.
Are we gonna start wrapping up?
I think we can do that. Although, shame, even though Russ has only just got here. He wants to know what about 3 kilos a dab. Yeah, but we're thinking 3 kilos a dab. The cops don't even know what that looks like. So have your 3 kilos of dab and then also have your 3 kilos of... No, I'm not saying don't break that. 3 kilos of dab, the cops won't know what that looks like.
Or what it is, for that matter.
Yeah.
Should we do something weird here?
Yeah, let's do all the weird things.
Who's Colonel van Staden?
He's the guy on the notice.
Are we allowed to call him?
He says, let's call him.
Okay.
Find out whether.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is so this notice, we're gonna find out if this is fake news from Russia or if this is legit. Apparently there's some cell phone number. I don't know if this oak's number is fucked up right now. It's apparently Colonel van Staden, whose name is on this notice or whatever.
You're going to phone the cop.
Joe, you're going to call him live on air?
I'm not calling him.
Let's call him.
This oak here wants to call
Let's
him.
call him. The lawyers have said let's call him.
Then let's call him.
Yeah.
Who's got the balls to call him?
Chris says it was really great to meet
I'm waiting
us.
on the
Chris, it
hangout.
was such a pleasure
Chris,
to meet you.
amazing to meet you, brother.
Bri, I've been waiting to meet you for so
Sorry
many
for laughing.
years,
Yeah.
and you are such a special person, and that beautiful person you have in your life is
Yeah.
also such
Who's
a
called-
special
okay.
person.
I'm gonna call him
And
now.
best veggie pie.
So, just before you call him again, please, a big shout out to Chris J, we.co.za. It's still alive and kicking. That's the OGest forum in SA. Chris
Yeah.
was very kind to us, organised the Kef time in Bathurst. Beautiful part of the
Very
world.
hospitable.
So, thank you again,
Provided
Chris.
us with a haunted house and everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
That house was
Amazing.
mind blowing.
That's a whole fucking movie. I wish we could stream our lives
the
24/7.
design outcomes to a documentary will reveal some things.
So much B and C and Z roll. So we're trying to decide who is going to call this cop live on air. So
Yeah,
I'm going to keep quiet while the oak backstage here calls in, and you just listen.
Okay, it's ringing.
Here we go.
We're dialing Colonel van Staden right now. Hi, good evening. Is this Colonel van Staden? Hi, Colonel. I've just received a document where it says we can direct inquiries to your number for the arrests for possession of Dagga. Is this
Legit.
sorry? Is this a? It's Nelio. Is this document? I see it's been stamped the 20th of September, and it reads the Provincial Joint Instruction 52/2018.
I know exactly about the letter.
Okay, we just wanted to understand whether it's a legal document,
Legit.
a legit document.
You said you are speaking, who's speaking first?
It's Nelio.
Video.
Nelio, yes.
From the media.
Just I just wanted to just check to see
Media.
if this is it's from the media.
Well, okay. No, it's something that there's an instruction that we received. It's not a legal document. We are still waiting for the correct instructions or the legal advice from the legal services. But in the meantime, we said let's just issue an instruction.
Okay. So
It's
this
not yet a legal document. We
Yes.
are waiting for the approval from the legal services.
But it's
It's a
real.
legitimate
okay.
document.
But it
it's
is
not
a
fake
legitimate
news.
document, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Colonel van Staden. Thank you very much.
Right.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Well, there you have it from the
Yes.
horse's mouth, folks. This is a legitimate document.
Big high fives there. So what the oak said,
Thank you, Nelio.
if you didn't hear that, he said this isn't a legal document. What the cops have said is while they're waiting for the legal opinion and all that, they've said in the meantime, stop arresting for volumes up to 3 kilograms.
Yes.
Legit as fuck.
Legit.
Live on the HotBox
fuck.
podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Hashtag Lang Dank.
Thanks to Ricky. Thanks to Ricky.
Thank
Thanks
you,
to
Ricky.
Thanks to Ricky.
Yeah, thanks to fucking everybody.
That's it.
Yes, man.
Thanks to Mary Jane. Honestly, I feel like at this point,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, we've sat a lot on this show, and we're gonna go all Deadpool fourth wall, yeah. Mary Jane, if you're listening, wherever you are, thank you, hey. Done a
Yeah.
lot for us. We
Yeah.
do this because, you know, for me, You saved me from a double brandy and coke life.
Yeah.
And for that I'm grateful. So thank you, Mary Jane.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for me, probably saved me from the cocaine life because I could have gone that way very, very easily. I liked to party when I was younger, a lot.
And for me, she's literally saved my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a serious medical condition and I use it every day for a medicinal reason, and she has saved my life. I don't have to abide by mainstream law and go and take pharmaceuticals, you know, and go against what I want to do. So a big thank you is in order.
Yeah, I think, and for you guys at home, I'm sure this plant's done a lot for you. Guys with PTSD, guys who just had shit childhoods, guys who've got fuck all going on, and this is just what's taking the edge off and is your crutching life. That's completely acceptable.
The communities that it's brought together as well. I mean, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed to have you in my life. It's just stupid.
It's unreal.
You know, and it wouldn't have been if it wasn't for the plant.
Yeah, like if I look back at, and I'm going to get a bit sentimental here, the last 3 weeks have been really amazing for me.
Yeah.
I'm a matrix kind of guy who's stuck in there all the time. And maybe, and I'm so afraid. Oh, it's just difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm afraid to lose this.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're gonna.
Yeah.
It's been a very emotional week. It truly has. I mean, from this high of, and it was a complete and utter high for me. I've had the last 2-3 weeks of my life been an absolute fucking dream. I'm the luckiest fish ever. I've got to hang out with like my best friends ever, right? Who also are my heroes and my mentors, and I got to go on a road trip with them and smoke lots and lots of fucking weed and get to hang out with like Bobby and Bones and meet the Richards Bay gang, and you know, then to meet Krithy and his gang, and they were so hospitable and they're such beautiful people, you know. And then awesome drive back to Joburg, and then the next one down to Sinsa, and all these amazing people who are so excited about this industry, and some chill out time on the beach. We got to go fishing. Buzz taught me how to fish, he says, I'm a hustler, but he really, it's been like since I was in primary school.
That's the B-roll and the Z-roll. But
That's
also,
the B-roll, you know.
You know, it's not all bongs and glam, but you know, we say thank you to Jules, we say thank you to Murta, we say thank you to Jeremy, we say thank you to Russ, we say thank you to the Constitutional Court, we say thank you to Shinders, we say thank you to everyone who is there, but also most importantly to all of you who are there watching now, the guys who come and do the shit things like pick up the rubbish at D-Day, Nelio, Wormschlang, these oaks sitting here who you never see, who do so much. Thank you.
Yeah, bless.
Stay lit.
Stay lit.
Stay lit.